Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good some part of the day, depending on where you are, where you're watching us, whether you're watching on a VOD live, whatever the case may be. We have a Game 3 here in the Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament between SirLinkalot777 and a HayfieldBay. Winner goes on to the brackets. The loser is going home. I am MentosMan8, joined this morning by Edium. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Got a pretty hype match here. Settings for this match, just a regular 7-7 defeat Ganon open, the normal default settings. So we should be getting underway in about a minute here.
Yep, and worth noting, this is actually the second time these two have faced each other in groups. Linkalot and HayfieldBay went at it in round 1 of their bracket, which Linkalot took 2-1, and then after losing 2-1 to Pika Pals and HayfieldBay winning 2-0 against James F and X, they meet again here in losers round 2 at 1-1 apiece. HayfieldBay took game 1, Linkalot took game 2, and here we are.
And we are getting started. We got $20 there in Link's house and a nice bottle in Sanctuary.
Early bottle always nice because it gives you that ability to check the sick kid on your first trip to Kakariko. Saves you one walk over there.
Yeah, HayfieldBay starting off with the Uncle route. So some players like to do this route, just give you a couple extra checks. And you can grab some magic and hope to farm some bomb drops or something off the enemies. So this starts pretty popular.
Yeah, notably, HayfieldBay did not kill a guard and do a tree pull there. We saw on Linkalot side just single rupees that RBM missed out on, but
yeah, and we see another bottle there on Lumberjack Ledge. Probably not going to go back for that.
you know, usually you see a bottle on Lumberjack and you got that slight worry, like, am I really going to have to go through Aghanim for a bottle for a sick kid? But you got a bottle in the first chest, so no.
Here's our first map check. We got a regular crystal at Eastern, a red crystal at Desert, and I think that was a regular pendant at Hera.
That was the green pendant at Hera.
Oh, green pendant.
So that's not a terrible layout. 2 pendants in the Dark World is, you know, pretty much what you would hope for on average. Not the ideal, but it's as close as you're going to get most races.
Yeah. So both players going into Kakariko with no bombs and no money to buy bombs. Although, actually, HayfieldBay is going to... Oh, yeah, he's going to get some blue rupees there. So he'll be able to buy bombs. But Linkalot's just going to gamble. He's going to dive straight into the well. Hope to find some bombs in the well, or else he'll have to come back for that last item.
And HayfieldBay actually is saving and quitting out of the Thieves' hideout. Linkalot getting his bombs. That worked out wonderfully for him. I do like what Hayfield's doing here. He has the money for bombs, so instead of having to route Kakariko all funky, he saves and quits to Link's house. Gonna take the south route here, try to get a couple bombs from the 50-50 bushes, and then he can just buy bombs on his way north in Kakariko.
Yeah, and he gets pretty good luck there, getting 2 bombs on his first 2 tries. How many times do you go through those bomb bushes? 2, 3, 4 times, and you get nothing.
Way, way too many.
Alright, so we spotted a glove on the race game there, so HayfieldBay definitely going to get that. We have half magic and a Bombos medallion inside the well.
Yeah, neither of which are anything, super valuable right now, but later on down the line, you're gonna want to have, well, at least you're gonna want to have half magic. It's nice. Bombos may never be needed.
Ooh, ice rod off the bottle vendor.
I'm happy for them that their ice rod was somewhere reasonable. Practicing I did this morning, it was not anywhere reasonable, so they're ahead of me on that front.
Hey, $50 in the chicken hut and just a heart container on the library. SirLinkalot taking a couple seconds there to free that chicken.
He's a kind soul right there. He is going to go ahead and buy some bombs. He's got 3, but you're probably going to Mini Moldorm Cave here soon, and 3 bombs is not likely to be enough to get through Mini Moldorm.
Yeah, although that ice rod and half magic can go pretty far. Oh no! And of course, 10 bombs on the sick kid. This is why I like to do those checks before I buy bombs, just in case.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moments where, as a runner, you just kind of slap your forehead like, really?
But that's going to do it for our Kakariko checks, so no real immediate progression. Well, we got that glove, so I stand corrected. So we can do Back of Escape.
If they could also sequence break up Death Mountain if they wanted to, I doubt either of them will go for that, because there's only 2 items you actually get from that, and that's not super valuable for the time.
Yeah, although sometimes it can be nice to do it just to get that save and quit point.
Very true. And it does look like Linkalot is going to be getting out of Kakariko a little bit sooner, mainly due to not having that extra save and quit and having to walk back a second time. The disadvantage of Hayfield's route was the extra time added. The advantage was you're going to get bombs, whereas Linkalot was, if he didn't get bombs in the well, he was going to be wasting more time than was saved to try and get back there.
Yeah, so we are going to see Back of Escape here first from SirLink.
Nice, quick 3 checks, and if you don't do it right away, at least I'm prone to forgetting about it. I think that's true for a lot of people. That's a bow and a mushroom and $20, so very solid Back of Escape.
Yeah, so probably going to point our runners towards Eastern Palace in the not too distant future. Although it's kind of tempting to just go turn that mushroom in straight away.
Yeah, with the whirlpool south of Link's house, you can turn it in very quickly, and it's not really a pain if you want to keep the mushroom for later fake powder potential. You can hard reset out of it real quickly. But we're going to head down for a pretty straightforward trip to South Shore. Check the dam, check Mini Moldorm Cave, most likely. And we find a bug net under the water, so they might pick that up. Depends on how they feel about the rest of the seed. Moon Pearl, they definitely want, though.
And SirLink is going to grab that bug net. This early on with few hearts, and you do have an empty bottle, it's not the worst idea to just grab that little safety.
Yep, and later on, if you want to, show off a little bit, you can use it to kill Aghanim, but hey, let's worry about that when the time comes.
SirLink putting that ice rod to good use. Definitely a lot faster and easier than using bombs.
For sure, and Mini Moldorm Cave, making sure you're nice and fully stocked on bombs. with, I think that was 9 of them in there.
Yeah, we got a shield, but overall pretty worthless mini Moldorm cave. So we are going to continue on to Ice Rod Cave.
HayfieldBay won with the bomb strat for mini Moldorms, which, you know, is a little bit slower, but not going to cost them anything since mini Moldorm Cave was just Bomb Cave.
And SirLink getting nabbed by a crab there, but he's alright.
Crab's the only light world enemy to do 2 hearts of damage on the overworld, because why not?
And SirLink is going to leave Ice Rod Cave and probably go for a fake flipper here. So he'll be able to check the Hobo and Waterfall Cave, but he's nowhere near Zora money. So this play will kind of isolate that a bit.
Yeah, he does also have the potential to, if something good is on the Zora ledge, with bombs, bow, and ice rod, they're all good items for the new version of fake flippers that was discovered relatively recently. So he could also get the Zora ledge while he's up there, just not Zora himself.
Yeah, for sure. HayfieldBay not going to bother with a fake flipper play. He's headed straight for Eastern.
I like both these plays, to be honest. Hayfield saving it for when he's got money for Zora, when it might be in Logic. Linkalot saying this is a few very quick to get items, and I can get everything but one of them, might as well go for it. Gonna get our visit to Sahasrara's hut. And that bomb explodes, and the 3 chests back here have a heart container, 20 bucks, and another heart container. Not the worst thing that could be there.
Yeah, I guess early on you'll take a couple hearts. SirLink, meanwhile, heading into Waterfall Cave, did see Hylia Island was just a heart piece there.
There's a heart piece and the Quake medallion in the Waterfall of Wishing, so, you know, that's 2 out of 3 medallions. That's pretty good odds that we have everything we need for the seed.
And just a heart piece on Zora Ledge. So meanwhile, HayfieldBay now heading into Eastern Palace. 3 items in here. Completing the dungeon is not in Logic, but if you can do those dark rooms, you might as well go for it.
Yep, and Linkalot going to be following just behind. Obviously, the fake flipper play did not really pay off in any meaningful way, with Quake not being needed until probably way later, if at all. But he's got those checks out of the way. Hayfield will probably do them at some point. For now, though, we've got Eastern Palace, we've got Agino's Cave, and we have a couple items left in the escape sequence that these 2 can look for their progression in. But we got to be kind of closing in on where something that'll move them forward will be.
Yeah, SirLink now also heading over towards Eastern Palace. So haven't really found much inside there yet, but only have opened a couple chests. HayfieldBay going to use this little strat here. If you move through that room in just the right way, you can kill those skeletons before they appear, and only have to kill 2 of them.
Yeah, you get 1 to spawn up in the wall at the top, 1 to spawn in the pot below you, and then you just kill the other 2, and you're all good. And while that was going on, we also had the hammer found in Eastern Palace, so we now have Dark World access.
Yeah, so the seed's pretty wide open now.
So you're at Eastern Palace. You get the hammer for Dark World access. Do you just leave here and immediately go down to Flute Spot 5 and walk right back up to Pod?
I mean, it'd be tempting, but with no sword, no lamp, no fire rod, Pod's a little scary right now.
Agreed. It's a big risk. It could pay off, but it's definitely one of the.
Yeah, and even if you can get through those dark rooms, it's still going to be slower than if you find the lamp. So, I don't know. Personally, I'd probably just do something normal, like go to Hype Cave. Plus, we don't even know yet if Pod is a crystal. It could just be appended.
Very, very true. Going into there with going on that play, you do run the risk of, hey, it's a pendant. I don't actually want to go here.
Alright, HayfieldBay into this tricky dark room is gonna try to mark that Igor with an arrow so he can see where it is, and then kill it and grab the key from it. Does it very well. That was a very, very nicely executed dark room there by Hayfield.
That room is a nightmare if you don't get an arrow on the Igor and just have to play it by feel, but once you mark it, it's pretty straightforward. Going into the back here, going to use the ice rod on the popos instead of the hammer. Realize it just freezes them, and then bring out the hammer anyway.
Yeah, this room is kind of annoying with no sword.
Got 28 arrows, obviously plenty enough for the Armos fight. Gonna go for the quick kill strat up at the top right. Gets down the opening, which is the hard part, easy, but then kind of misses a little bit on the end. But gets the boss down quickly afterwards, gets a heart container. And the first crystal 16 minutes in.
SirLink missing the first first hit on that pot switch there, so loses a little bit of time having to do it again.
Getting that bug net ready, gonna hop down here into this pot, which will take you to a fairy room, and he's gonna catch a fairy as well as probably eat the other one, and boom, full health and safety.
So HayfieldBay actually going straight for the Kakariko portal. I think it's more common to kind of start with Hype Cave, but this can work out as well.
Yeah, I've definitely seen both schools of thought. There was a while where I used to do this all the time, going straight to Village of Outcasts for the nice little loop you get. But Hype Cave, you know, is that immediate 5 items. They're both pretty reasonable strategies to take.
So the question here for Hayfield is, do you dip into Skull Woods now, or do you put it off, hope to get the fire rod first?
I'm personally a fan of putting Skullwoods off a bit when you first get here because you have so many other options. It looks like Hayfield is going to do that. And Linkalot going with the alternate quick kill strat for the Armos kind of misses the initial part. Does a good job of kind of reconvening his movement and gets the Armos down pretty quickly, all things considered.
Yep. So that's 1 crystal apiece. Hayfield finding a shovel there in the chest game. Oh, no, we got a Dark World map check. It is pendants at Mire and Swamp. And I did not see where the 5-6 crystal was.
That would be Ice Palace as our other 5-6.
Alright.
We are getting Linkalot going down here to the Hype Cave start, so we got both options on the table being shown right here. Hayfield gonna dive right into Thieves Town. He can full clear this dungeon, so why not?
So with those pendants, that actually makes pedestal pretty unlikely.
Yeah, we've already got the Ice Rod, so it can't be that.
There's our last medallion in Thieves Town, Ether.
Yep, so there goes that. Can't be Hookshot with Swamp as a pendant. Can't be Cane of Samaria with Mire. I think Pedestal might be... Oh, speaking of Cane of Samaria.
So Canis Mario along with the shield. Yeah, the only thing I can think of that could possibly be on the pedestal is gonna be the boots for desert. Other than that, there's really...
Yeah, the boots are, as far as I can tell as well, the only thing that could be there. So, very unlikely to be a thing. And Linkalot over here is spamming some Ice Rod shots to empty out his magic. Looks like he's planning to go do some fake powder over at the Magic Bat to see if, you know, that nets him anything with that sequence break. Let's see, Hayfield making his way through the Hellway. Without the boots, you really cannot God Pixel it. And otherwise, you just kind of have to try to dodge as best you can.
Let's see if this fake powder pays off for SirLink. Blue mail.
Yeah, you know what? Not bad. It's not gonna give you progression, but it makes your life a lot easier. And for those who are not aware, that glitch is very simple. You press Y on Cane of Samaria, menu over to the mushroom as the sound plays, and then, hey, you did powder. You can do it with the powder out as well for powder with no magic.
Yeah, that can come in handy in places like Turtle Rock and a few other dungeons.
It's really good in GT because you can just spam that fire rod through, you know, the gauntlet, and then get upstairs and fake powder the anti-fairies before filling your magic up. Hayfield coming up on the Maiden's chest here. This will either be a small key or the small key will be locked behind itself. And small key. So we get to go visit the big chest thing. Linkalot heading up to Skull Woods to begin with. He's going to take this relatively common treat Skull Woods like overworld strategy.
Yeah, definitely we can see a bit of different styles here between the two runners. SirLink has been much more thorough than HayfieldBay. HayfieldBay routing very aggressively, just going straight for those crystal dungeons. So it has given SirLink a couple of items that might be required, but nothing major yet that would be game-changing.
Giving them the business a little bit.
Yeah, so HayfieldBay into a actually quite difficult fight here. Hammer blind, green mail, 5 hearts. And he doesn't have any safety, so he's going to have to be very careful here.
Yeah, takes a hit there on phase 2. Phase 3, it gets very hectic with the hammer.
Nicely done.
Hey, the lamp. So now you probably go to pod.
Yeah, that's going to make a pod play a heck of a lot easier.
And in Hayfield's case, since he didn't do Hype Cave yet, he'll probably take the south route out of Village of Outcasts, get to Hype Cave, and then walk straight up from there to pod. It's a crystal, it's now in logic to full clear. There's not much argument for knocking it out of the way. Ooh!
What was that?
That was the Titan's Mets in the first chest of Skull Woods in the front here.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's huge. It might be a while before HayfieldBay finds that.
Yeah, Skull Woods is a crystal, so he'll definitely be coming here, but you need a sword and a fire rod to complete it. And if he wants to wait till you can full clear it, that could be a while.
Yeah, especially if that fire rod ends up being locked behind the Titan's Myths.
So you were just talking about Linkalot being, nice and thorough, and it hadn't paid off for him yet. It finally did with a very, very significant item. He's going to be able to probably grab the blacksmith while he's here just for convenience of routing, check hammer pegs while he's over this way.
Yeah. Grabbing the blacksmith is always kind of a pain with no mirror and no flute. It takes a while to do it, but at the same time, you do kind of want to put those Titan's Myths to work. You got something your opponent might have missed, so you really want to try to push that advantage. So we'll see how he decides to route it.
And I'm curious how much Linkalot has picked up about Hayfield's routing in terms of watching back restreams, etc. If he's watched it back and seen that, hey, this guy doesn't go to Skull Woods right away, that gives you more impetus to do Titan's Mid checks early. If he's watched it back and Hayfield has, done those Skull Woods checks normally, he might think, okay, my opponent has this, I don't need to really worry about it as much.
Alright, so HayfieldBay continuing. Gonna do Hype Cave, get that King of Samaria.
And walking back out, likely, as mentioned, going to head north. Maybe check the pyramid and catfish on the way, but eventually work his way into pod.
Actually, that shovel is pretty nice for routing in the blacksmith, because you can just go from Link's house to the shovel to the blacksmith. So anytime you can route stuff in together, that just makes it a much more tempting play. So we are going to get a... Sorry?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we are going to get a pyramid ledge check.
And then the ultimate question of it, do you do catfish? There are a lot of different schools of thought on that.
Yeah, I think in this situation, I'd just go straight into pod, and if something's on catfish, then, too bad.
I tend to agree with that, and looks like Hayfield agrees as well, just leaving Pyramid going down here. His ideal situation would be able to get the mirror, and then maybe even the flippers, and be able to route like Graveyard Ledge to Catfish to Waterfall and Zora.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Either way, though, working his way into our third Crystal of the Seed. We're only 28 minutes in. We've got 2 crystals on Hayfield's side. He's entering into the dungeon for the third. Linkalot's got a little bit less, but he's got some item advantage going on.
Yeah, for sure.
That Zazak just jumped right behind Link's hammer and just, nope, I'm gonna hit you. Okay, first chest is a big key, so you gotta go through the kind of annoying routing of going to the right side first. I've chosen in the past to do right side first just because it helps you figure out key logic and maybe avoid the vanilla big key chest. But when you don't have mirror or boots, having to go right first is really annoying.
Yeah. So, yeah, if I were Sir Link, I'd be picking up some magic. So in this room he's about to go into, there's a few magic drops in the bottom, but he's not going to bother. The reason I say that is he's got that King of Samaria, which can be kind of helpful on blind if you have trouble with the hammer strats.
Yeah, Cane Blind is definitely easier than Hammer strats. Then again, he's got Blue Mail, he's got a fairy in a bottle, so I don't think he's super concerned about things going wrong.
Does he actually have a fairy? Oh yeah, that's right, he picked it up in Easter.
Yep, so he's got safety galore, so I don't think he's really too concerned about making things easier at the expense of time.
Alright, HayfieldBay now actually gonna Death Warp here.
That's a strange decision to me. You've got the hammer, you could easily just wrap right around to the vanilla big key chest. The Death Warp is kind of just slow.
Yeah.
Could be a lot of people, you know, when you have the boots, you like to go down here and then bonk up off the staircase down there right up to this ledge. But if you don't have the boots, then, you know, it could be a little bit annoying to go around that way, I guess. Going for the hammer yump and unfortunately misses it. If my reading of the things was correct, just based on what I could pick up on the commentary stream, it looked like he was about 1 pixel too low in his second placement.
Yeah, I also, I don't think this is a good spot to go for a hammer yump because he doesn't have any small keys, so he's going to have to Death Warp out of there and come to the back again.
Yeah, I actually thought that he had a small key on hand. I didn't realize that he didn't get one.
Yeah, because he skipped the Stalfos room, which I think has to have a small key. So he's going to regret this decision here.
And so I think with the way the keys shook out, it looks like, I believe the vanilla big key chest and the Stalfos room are both guaranteed small keys. So you want to hammer yump there, so you can use or keep a small key for going to the boss instead of having to go to Stalfos room. But you want to do that after Harmless Hellway and the U room so that you don't have to walk all the way back here again.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was his intention. He just mixed up the order of what he was supposed to do. Sir Link, meanwhile, going for those Titan Ments lock checks. No, it's going to skip. Gonna go ahead and skip the Smith chain. Oh, right, he has to do, what am I talking about? He has to do this first.
Yep, and I can see a definite argument for skipping the Smith as well. We'll see which he decides to go with.
If I were Sir Link, I'd be going for the Smith, so I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know Hayfield's playstyle well, so I can't really say for sure if you could expect him to have checked Skullwoods or not. But if you don't expect it, definitely go for the Mitts checks.
The main reason, I think, is just because you got the Titan's Mitts in Skullwoods, which your opponent might have skipped. So, and plus you have that shovel to route it in with. If you didn't have the shovel, I can see skipping it just because it's such a long check. If you can't route it in with anything, but I don't know. I think it's definitely worth going for here.
I can agree. And watching Hayfield there going back and forth by the vanilla big key chest here, I think I'm gonna kind of start to chalk this up to a little bit of nerves. You're in game 3, your tournament life is on the line. You know your opponent is good enough where over the course of 4-5 races so far, you guys are pretty much evenly split. It can be a little bit off-putting, and I think those nerves kind of just completely lost him on pod routing.
Yeah, he definitely has not routed this pod optimally. So we are going to see that shovel spot here from SirLink. Just a heart container.
It's still nice to have, but with blue mail and everything, you're kind of in decent shape as is. The only issue is, no sword still. We're going to see Hayfield start to make his way to the back here. And, he's got to go through the turtle room with the lamp and the hammer. That should not be an issue. And then he gets to fight Helmosaur, which will be kind of a pain with no sword.
Yeah, not the easiest fight here, but should be doable. And just a heart container off the Smiths, so that play not paying off this time.
Yep, and could have gone back to the Dark World, gone down, grabbed the purple chest, walked all the way over to turn it in and maybe check a Gina with it. But that's a lot of time investment for very few items. He's just going to the Dark World, gonna head over to Pod as well.
So we didn't really get anything out of Pod. There might be an item on Helmosaur. But besides that, we're once again starting to run out of places to look.
Yeah, definitely are. Catfish is still on the table. We'll see if Linkalot is going to go check that. He has been more thorough. Yeah, we got Catfish. We have not seen the front of Escape yet, which could be a thing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a big one. Front of Escape. We still got Old Man and Spectacle Rock Cave.
Yeah, no way to get across to the east side where most of the value is. We can get some stuff. Hayfield using the bow on phase 2 of Helmosaur here. Definitely the safest option he has.
And nicely done. Gets Helmosaur down.
And that's a fire rod.
Now the problem for Hayfield is he's got no sword. But that is going to push him towards Skullwood, so that's going to kind of kill the advantage that SirLink had of the Titan's Mitts. Because he really wanted that fire rod to be Titan's Mitts locked.
Yeah, although if the sword is mitts locked, it still might push Hayfield out of there, but with locations dwindling, I could definitely see a trip to Skullwoods, just like it's one of my best places left.
Yeah. I think HayfieldBay will probably check some other stuff first, just hoping for a sword.
Although he is headed over toward Kakariko, and there's not much else he has over here.
It looks like he's actually heading towards the mountain.
I think he's going through the Lost Woods entrance up here to make it a little bit smoother trip into the portal, as well as, I guess, check Lumberjack. Also, no catfish check by Linkalot either, so if that's where our progression is hiding, well, it's going to be a while still. Also, I admit defeat. He is going up the mountain as you thought. So there's not going to be a whole lot to be found up here. We're going to get the item from the old man. We're going to go up and check Spectacle Rock Cave. But if we don't find the hookshot or the mirror on one of those two checks, we're going to be stuck up here.
Just $20 off the old man.
Now heading up for Spectacle Rock, Linkalot, meanwhile, over here in Pod, has a chance to gain back a relatively significant amount of time on Hayfield just by routing this dungeon cleanly.
$20 on top of Spec Rock. And nothing inside, so yeah, this play a bit of a bust. We don't have nearly enough hearts to do Spike Cave. I think even if he had a potion, he wouldn't be able to do it. I'm not sure on that.
I think it'd be close. A fairy would be enough, I'm pretty certain, but a potion might be too tight.
Yeah, Fairy gives you those iframes that let you get quite a bit of distance with the invulnerability. Hayfield going for the shovel spot. So what are we down to? Just Catfish, Shagina, Front of Escape?
That seems about right. Also, Linkalot going down to the Stalfos basement there to get a key, just to make sure he had enough to go to the back. It looks like, by the way, he skipped the Vanilla Big Key chest. He recognized the key logic in the front of Pod, knows that the Vanilla Big Key chest is the key, but had to kind of do a little bit of a workaround to get through that front door conveniently. This also allows him, if he so chooses, to not do the hammer yump and still have a key to get to Helmasaur, which would have been an issue if he skipped both those keys in the front.
HayfieldBay now making the play on Escape here.
Also, I'm reminded by Linkalot grabbing all this money, we also haven't seen King Zora himself. We've seen the ledge, but not the actual rip-off artist. Also, very convenient vanilla map and escape means that the small key has to be in Dark Cross, and that means that you don't have to Death Warp and go to Dark Cross, which is lovely.
Yeah, that's always an important bit of logic to remember. It's so easy to forget that, and it feels bad when you go all the way to Dark Cross and you just get that key.
Item one of the two in here was a piece of heart. We'll come up on item 2 over in Zelda's cell before long. Linkalot, meanwhile, through the dark maze, going to open the big chest, get some red mail, and go Death Warp, which, well, maybe Death Warp. He might just walk back out with the health he has, but these Kadongos do 1 heart of damage no matter what, so they're a quick Death Warp. He does have a fairy, though.
Ooh, and there's that hook shot in Zelda's cell.
Oh, I did not notice him let that fairy go.
Yeah. So that hookshot's going to open up East Death Mountain, where HayfieldBay, without those Titan's mitts, is not going to be able to do a few checks that SirLink will once he makes his way to Escape.
Yeah, if there's an item on Dark Death Mountain, it's going to be a little bit of advantage Linkalot just for being able to route it cleanly together and save a trip up the mountain.
Yeah, HayfieldBay is missing the mail that was it on where was it?
That was Magic Bat with the fake powder.
Right. Yeah. Okay, there's a sword for Hayfield, so that is good news for him. He'll be able to go to School Woods and full clear it and get those Titan Smiths.
Yeah, so Linkalot is going to get the advantage of doing Dark and Light Death Mountain together, but the Titan's Smith advantage is going to be over quite soon. Other than that, though, Paradox Cave, pretty empty. So what do you think? If you're in this position here, do you go to Hera and check out Green Pendant Hera?
I'd say probably yes for HayfieldBay, just because he doesn't have a lot open for him. There's only 2 items in Schoolwood.
And it seems like you're correct on that front. He is making his way over here. I'm curious if Linkalot, with those mids and Dark Death Mountain access, will also make the play over to go to Hera, or if he'll just skip it altogether.
I think SirLink will probably go into Turtle Rock. Oh, Boots and Hera.
Well, I sure hope he doesn't skip Hera then, because losing out on Boots for a while just feels bad, man. Even if they're not required, just it hurts to not have Boots when you know you could have.
I can see him skipping or just doing the basement of Hera, or not basement, the first floor. And we'd see HayfieldBay going to set up the Hera pod here. It's a fairly recently discovered glitch. If you have the hook shot, you can do this. Although, did he? Okay, he got it right.
Yeah, by the time it's second try, when you have the big key, you're probably talking about minimal, if any, time save. But, you know, if you miss it once and then you have to do it again, well, it's still quicker than going up the tower after missing it once. So as long as you nail it that second time, you're still coming out ahead of where you could have otherwise been.
So we are seeing SirLink make, unfortunately, the same play HayfieldBay did of coming up the mountain before getting that hook shot from Escape.
Yeah, but it won't hurt too much since you get the old man save and quit spot, and you know you want to be at the bottom of the mountain to hook shot across instead of at the top of the mountain for Spectacle Rock anyway, so it's not a huge time loss of any sort. Going to be sorely disappointed with the items he gets on his trip up here though, and these cabbages are giving him the business.
Oh, and by the way, I just noticed we're in sword mode. We don't need the mirror, we don't need the flippers, we don't need the flute. Oh, never mind. We need desert access. That's it. So
yeah, we need either flute and mirror or book to be found.
So never mind, we're not in sword mode, but we are getting close to that go mode.
Yep, I could see at least one of those options being present on Dark Death Mountain or T-Rock, and Linkalot is going to be able to clear both of those while he's up there. Oh, he's going for a Gina or Mushroom. Looks like a Mushroom.
Yeah, did we see the mushroom yet? Did Hayfield turn it in?
Nope, no one has done it yet, and Linkalot having a little bit of trouble setting up this fake flipper here.
He gets it now. And it looks like HayfieldBay heading... he's going to do boot checks here. Well, just the one that he can do, Bonk Rock. And probably head to Skullwoods next.
piece of heart out of the Bone Crocs, and yeah, Skullwoods is the very sensible play to be making here. So he's going to be caught up to Linkalot on the mids front here soon. Linkalot needs to get to the front of Escape to get that hook shot. We'll see if he goes there next or goes to somewhere else.
Starting at Link's house. So yeah, looks like the escape play here.
Yep, I do want to throw in, I am mildly amused that he just took the time to fill up his health while going to Escape with red mail and, 7 hearts to start with and a hammer. That's a degree of caution that I commend for making sure that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, it might just be muscle memory. I find myself doing that too. Just you start there and you're like, fill up on health, and then immediately you're like, wait, I didn't need that.
Yeah, I have definitely done it before as well. And Hayfield has picked up his Titan's mids. There's probably a part of him screaming right now, oh no, Linkalot has had these the whole time. Escape should go quickly. It's just the couple checks to be made, and then Linkalot will go up the mountain as well, and we'll be able to see what Dark Death Mountain has in store. Hayfield, meanwhile, going to go straight to the back of Skullwoods prior to opening those other few chests in the front. I don't recall if Linkalot got the second item out of there or not. I believe he did, though.
I seem to remember he didn't, but I could be wrong. And SirLink taking some damage on the way. The good thing about death warping here is that green guards always do a half heart of damage no matter what mail you're on, so it never takes a huge amount of time.
Yep, although if he is paying attention to that key logic, he knows from that first chest he doesn't have to death warp. Hayfield going at Moth with the Fire Rod. It takes 8 Fire Rod shots to kill Mothula. You also have the Hammer and the Fighter Sword as options. He's switching to the Hammer now. And there we go. Moth is dead and drops a compass.
Great, SirLink now on his way to East Death Mountain.
Quick shout out to our tracker, SaverUX, who has pointed out that he also only recalls 1 item from Skull so far. So I will defer to the both of you and assume that the combination is correct and I am wrong. Hayfield is going for this chest in the really annoying to get away from location.
Ooh, and flippers inside that bridge chest in Skullwood. So that puts Ice Palace fully into logic. We didn't need the flippers to get there, but again, we do logically need it.
Yep, and judging from this start, I believe Hayfield is going to Ice Palace most likely, either that or just doing the flipper checks. Taking a moment to buy a red potion, so that kind of further inclines me to the Ice Palace play.
Yeah, it looks like he'll do some flipper checks first, though, Hobo. Probably a waterfall cave, which will get him that Quake medallion. And Sir Link saving and quitting out of Paradox? I don't understand that.
It looks like he's going for that Skull Woods play immediately, but yeah, I think that was maybe a little bit of a mental misstep. You saw him kind of pause a little bit before hitting save and quit. I think he might have kind of just spaced on Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's a confusing play.
But I've been in these kind of games before where it's all or nothing, and sometimes you just have those moments where your brain kind of goes, what do you want to do again? So here we are in Ice Palace. There are going to be 3 items here. It is also our other 5-6 crystals, so once it is cleared out, we will... Oh no, we don't have Desert. Desert was the other 5-6. Never mind. In fact, we can safely say that Pyramid Fairy has nothing, because by the time you can get into Desert to clear that, you're in go mode.
And there is a Master Sword in Ice Palace for HayfieldBay, so he's officially just looking for desert access. That's it. That's all he needs. Oh, possibly that Quake medallion, I guess.
That is a super convenient Master Sword. I'd just like to thank the game for giving them that bit of kindness. Like, if you're in sword mode and you're only going to check a couple chests in Ice Palace, that's one of the 2 you are going to check. Hayfield? Hayfield, buddy, you forgot something. There we go. Gets the key from the Bari, and can now go through to do his Ice Palace bomb jump over here. Moth is down on Linkalot's side. He's going to go grab his flippers here momentarily. And then he's got to decide, do I go back up to Dark Death Mountain or do I go to Ice Palace? He's got 2 crystals he can full clear, both T-Rock and Ice Palace, so you're kind of going to be in that mode of, which do I want to make the risk on? I think my personal vote here would go to going to T-Rock and Dark Death Mountain, but Ice Palace is a lot quicker to get to.
Yeah, plus if you find your go mode here, that saves you an entire mountain trip, which could be pretty nice.
And Linkalot is headed to Ice Palace, so at this point, he's kind of following along Hayfield, and his one big advantage he kind of squandered with a little bit of a mental mishap.
Yeah, if that book or Flute and Mirror had been on East Death Mountain, Sir Link would have been able to just kind of semi-go mode Ice Palace.
Yeah, would have been able to get the sword out of the first chest here, and then just skip the rest. Obviously, he also didn't get the boots in Hera, which are giving Hayfield a little bit of time every second he's got them that Linkalot doesn't.
Yeah.
Of course, worth noting, some people overestimate the boots. They're not going to be, the sole reason that you win a race. I have won races that I didn't get the boots and everyone else did. I've lost races where I had the boots and no one else did, but they certainly help.
Yeah, for sure.
Iced tea, just a compass. So we're still looking for that final item out of Ice Palace, and then we will be heading off to fight Cold Stare, and should be a decently easy fight with half magic and fire rod. If you want to do things the quote-unquote optimal way, you could use fire rod just solely, spin them into the corner and then just fire rod them to death. Bombos might give you a couple more fire rod shots as safety if you want to make sure you kill them with it. Linkalot taking a little bit different route through Ice Palace than Hayfield did. Hayfield dropped down to get to the right side a little bit quicker. Linkalot doing the freeze orb chest here, and then going to do this bomb jump to get to either Ice Tea or the right side. Either way, really.
HayfieldBay trying to use that red potion. When boss is exploding, you cannot menu. So he had to be very careful not to take a death there. And there's a book.
So that is no mode. For Hayfield, it's likely go mode, but it depends on what medallion T-Rock is going to require.
Yeah, so if it's that Quake medallion, HayfieldBay might be looking for that for a while. So that's what SirLinkalot needs right now to catch up, is for Turtle Rock to be Quake. If it's not Quake, I think HayfieldBay is in a really good position right now.
Yeah, and we'll find out if Desert is boots locked. That could be even more of an advantage in his favor. But we'll be figuring that out here soon. So we will run over here. He's going to open up Desert. In Linkalot's case, the choice to leave Dark Death Mountain behind, as strange as it was, is actually going to pay off for him. Since he's getting this book out of here, he would have just wasted some time up there had he actually done it. But not doing Hera hurt.
Yeah.
I gotta love those staircases when you don't have boots.
Alright, so here's moment of truth here. Is Desert Boots locked? No, it is not.
Yep, so it might be logically boots locked, but not practically.
Yeah, so SirLink can beat this dungeon without the boots. HayfieldBay still okay, just checks the torch real quick. So in fact we saw a small key there, so it is actually logically boots locked.
Which is good knowledge for Linkalot to have later, honestly, because if by chance, Quake is required for T-Rock that keeps him in this race, and he gets up to GT and the big key is on the torch, knowing that it can't be in GT, he could just leave immediately. So as long as he checks that torch, that puts him in a little bit easier shape for the worst case scenario later. Hayfield is approaching the Desert Palace boss. He is going to be fighting the Lammolas here soon. He'll be using Fire Rod because, well, that's going to kill things very quickly. And then he'll be heading up to T-Rock where we find out how close or far apart this race is.
Yeah, so just 6 fire rod shots. If you hit them all, you can kill Lambo in 1 cycle. And very nicely done by Hayfield as SirLink is coming up on Cold Stare.
Gets 2 puffs down with the Fire Rod and going to be working on the 3rd one here. Got it down. We'll get his book and know he is in maybe go mode. So the moment of truth of this race is upon us. Will T-Rock require Quake, or will it require Bombos or Ether? The race changes dramatically depending on which of those is the correct answer. Linkalot gonna head down to Desert. He'll find out that he can clear it, though it is logically boots locked. And one thing I do want to point out, even though, let's say, well, actually, you know what, I'll just wait until we find out what T-Rock's medallion is and find out if what I was going to say is relevant at all. We'll be finding out here soon. We are at the portal, just gotta hammer a couple pegs, and then, you know, we'll have our answer immediately.
And it is Ether. So that is go mode for HayfieldBay. And he's got a commanding lead in this race now.
Yeah, and what I was going to say there is, with that not being Quake, his lead looks overwhelming, but I do want to kind of remind everyone about what we saw in Pod, what we saw in Ice Palace with skipping the key. Hayfield's nerves are clearly getting to him throughout this seed. And, you know, he's got a Desert Palace worth of a lead, a Desert Palace and a Death Mountain climb of a lead, but he's also got this this kind of track record of through this seed of having a little bit of mental mishaps, a little bit of execution mishaps that might make up the time if they strike in the wrong spot for Linkalot.
Yeah, especially with Ganon, Master Sword Silverless potentially coming up here. That's not an easy fight.
Yeah, like this race is definitely decidedly in Hayfield's advantage right now, don't get me wrong. But it's by no means over because we do have reason to believe that, you know, maybe he's not playing his absolute very best today.
Still, being on your last crystal at 107, I mean, you gotta feel good about that.
Very true. You do have to... You feel good, but at the same time, you know, I don't know about you, but when I'm racing, I always think if I did really well, my opponent probably did just as well or better. You know, finding that mid in Skull Woods, maybe Linkalot got that sooner, got up Death Mountain sooner, knew he was in go mode sooner, yada yada yada. There's definitely room, even with, you know, a very good time to be working on the 7th crystal, to think, you know, my opponent could have done better.
Alright, there is crystal number 6 for SirLinkalot. So he has to make that trek up to Turtle Rock now, but HayfieldBay is already halfway through the dungeon. And of course has that boots advantage. So we'll be able to do everything just a little quicker than SirLink.
Yep, so this will end up as a partial T-Rock ahead. So Linkalot gonna be going up the ledge here. I did have a little bit of a chuckle there at Asder in chat's comment about not envying Christos having to race himself. There's been an unofficial results spreadsheet that's been kept up to date by P-Trained for this tournament so far. And due to a weird little bug in it, it listed Christos Owen as being in the bracket twice. So that was an amusing callback to that. I like that. Okay, so Linkalot will be entering T-Rock probably about as Hayfield is getting to the dark room here.
Yeah, and for HayfieldBay, he's already got 2 small keys. He doesn't need to open any more chests here. Although he is gonna open that one. I guess you might still want to check for sword or silvers at this point.
Yeah, I think in this situation you kind of have to do laser bridge just because tempered or silvers would make such a huge time difference.
And even if you found that mirror, that'd be kind of nice. Just make GT easier to route.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what he decides, though. Yeah, it looks like he's going to laser bridge. You also got that mirror shield, so even if you aren't good with laser skips at the moment, just walk right into the lasers. And he gets nothing out of it. The last chest would be a small key, so he is going to open up the safety door here and then head on to try next. So yeah, less than a T-Rock clear separating these two. Oh, that's not a small key. That was a piece of heart. He actually had an extra small key. So yeah, this is gonna come down to GT and Ganon. If they don't get that sword upgrade or silvers, the Ganon fight could be a huge equalizer. Not to mention, Trinex with Hammer and Master Sword is not the most fun fight in the world.
Yeah, most runners I think tend to just use the hammer here. Although when you're on half magic, you can do it with Master Sword with not too much of a problem, as long as you don't miss a lot of shots.
I miss the days of quarter magic where you could just spam rod shots and his health is very low.
Yeah, he's got the last head down, so just has to not get hit here, and he'll be fine.
He is setting up for the double spin on the first phase there, which is always risky when you're in Oko mode. And he gets it.
Nicely done. So, with that, that is 7 crystals. And it is time for the GT Big Key guessing game. So get your guesses in chat, anything from numbers 1 up to 22. Preferably an integer if you want to actually win.
Generally helpful. What's your guess gonna be?
Let's go with 22 today. I want to see this be interesting.
Sounds fair. I'll go the opposite side then. I'll go as far opposite as I can and say, let's go 1.
Alright, HayfieldBay is going to just quickly dip into Hookshot Cave here. Again, hoping for a sword or silvers.
Yeah, I like it. 4 nice quick checks. You didn't do it earlier. Your opponent might have done it earlier. Off we go to GT, where HayfieldBay is going to be hoping for that late big key you guessed, because that'll give him more time to open chests for those swords or silvers. So here we go. Linkalot heading toward the Dark Maze as Hayfield goes into GT. And we will see how this plays out from here on.
Number 1, small key. Number 2, 10 arrows.
And Hayfield going to go left. It's a lot harder to make the call to do the right side when you don't have the mirror. Okay, and Linkalot is in go mode as well. The torch does not have the big key. He will not get burned by that. So it'll come down to, can Hayfield do GT smoothly? Well, GT and Ganon.
He's gonna bust out the Ether Medallion to take care of those Stalfos.
And Linkalot skipping Laser Bridge, going to make up a little bit of time here. He seems a little bit more confident with Master Sword Silverless today. And we are coming up on chest number 8 here, which has a compass. Yay! I don't know if you know where the boss of GT was, but I sure didn't, so I'm glad we got that compass. Linkalot on his try next fight tried to stay with Master Sword, didn't get a switch to the Fire Rod before the left head started exploding. Now has the ice head having spewed some ice on the ground to take care of. Gets it down, going into phase 2 as HayfieldBay comes up on Rando Room.
And HayfieldBay finds a really welcome sight in the silver arrows in Rando Room.
Yep, that makes the Ganon fight significantly safer. The hardest part of Master Sword Ganon, Silverless or no, is phase 1 or 2, but there's a lot of room for a mistake on phase 4 of Silverless. So if Linkalot decided to go full right here, it looks like he may actually have some payoff from it. That could close up the gap significantly if he does so.
No, never mind. It is there in Bob's chest. I don't know what number that is. Someone else can figure it out. HayfieldBay with no mirror is just going to death warp off the ice armors here.
You know, honestly, with how close the door is after you kill him, I would just, with Silvers, kill them quickly, check those 3 chests for a sword, and then just run back to the entrance.
Yeah, you could even grab the big chest on the way if you wanted, which probably the least open chest in the entire game.
Yep, until you get into those, you know, 4 or 7 GT/Ganon vulnerability seeds, or overworld glitches type things, then it becomes open quite a bit. We are taking out the Mimics. Mimics 1 down, Mimics 2 coming up. Silver Arrows makes these relatively straightforward rooms. And Linkalot is going right. If he goes full right due to the lack of mirror and goes all the way to Bob's chest, it'll save him a lot of time in GT. Now, it would make him miss the silvers, but it would get him caught up quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think those silvers will be worth it.
Yeah, unless there's a sword hanging out over here on the right side, which is always a possibility. We get the safety room from Hayfield. He was pretty low on health, so it makes a lot of sense. And his bombs, a red rupee, 10 arrows, and a map for Linkalot. And he is going full right, so he's going to get the GT big key very quickly. I would say it probably slightly comes out ahead of the silvers on Ganon, but not by much.
And SirLink accidentally using Bomb Boost meant to switch to the hookshot there.
And getting bopped by Firebar 2 into the pit. That's unfortunate. We are already to Land Mode 2 on HayfieldBay's side.
SirLink having some trouble with this room. This is not an easy room to do without... and he's just going to Death Warp and go left. So never mind any time advantage from getting the big key earlier.
Yep, so bright side is he'll get silver arrows. Downside is, the time that he could have saved by getting that room quickly is kind of turned into a time loss from messing it up a couple times. So we got the torches room to go, and then we'll be coming up on 2 more chests up at the top here that could have a sword for Hayfield. Seems like he's going to be checking them. He's been checking a lot of bonus stuff for those weapons. Three bombs to the right and $50 to the left. Equal value, Getting hit by the anti-fairy, or the bubble, or I forget what the actual name of the bunny... There we go, bunny beams. That's the word I was looking for. Muldrum 2 with the hammer, nice and quick. Gonna do a spin for phase 3 so you can have that hookshot equipped during the explosion.
And no luck finding any sort of upgrades in upper GT, so we are going to be doing a Master Sword Silvers Ganon.
Yep, not the worst case scenario, but definitely not an easy fight in the least. Linkalot picking up his silvers and probably thinking a little bit of, well, I'm at least glad I messed up that room for those. Got 2 doubles so far on Aga 2. Just barely misses a double on round 3, so 2-2, 1-1 to wrap up the Aga 2 fight. And here we go, the Ganon fight. There's plenty of room for things to go wrong. Linkalot, if he wants to stay alive in this tournament, has to hope that HayfieldBay has some trouble on Ganon, but right now it is 100% Hayfield's race to lose.
Yeah, I mean at this point, HayfieldBay would have to fail this fight numerous times for SirLink to come close here, because he's still got an entire GT climb ahead of him without the boots.
Yeah, very true. And Linkalot just going to back out of here. Looks like he's going to do a Death Warp on this little spark here. Ganon fight beginning for HayfieldBay with, again, Master Sword, Silvers. Of course, for those who aren't aware, the Master Sword was never intended to fight Ganon with by the original developers. The slash does not hurt Ganon. You have to do a spin attack, which does tempered sword damage to do any damage to Ganon during this fight, making it significantly harder to get these hits in. At a nice phase 1 into phase 2 here. Health is getting low, he's at 1 heart, so any hit from anything will cause him to restart this fight. This is why Master Sword Ganon is tricky, because it's hard to both charge a spin, deal with the knockback, and not get hit.
Oof. So, HayfieldBay is going to run down. No, he's just going to dive back in. There's a tree down there you can bonk to get a fairy for some extra health, but again, HayfieldBay has no idea where SirLinkalot is. For all he knows, he's also on the Ganon fight, so decides I'm not going to waste the time to get that fairy. I need to get this kill right now.
Yep, the fairy, gives you what? 6 hearts extra, which is valuable, but with blue mail, the, what is that, 3, 6, 7 hearts is usually pretty reasonable. So round 2 is up to phase 2. This is where things went wrong last time. Takes a hit from a fire bat. Ganon not exactly giving him the best of locations for phase 2 so far. You kind of hope he goes into one of the top 2 corners where you can easily stand between him and the wall and just kind of spin there.
And to make things worse for SirLinkalot, he's got a problem. Look at his key count.
Ooh, yeah. There were no keys upstairs either.
So things just, unfortunately, going from bad to worse for SirLinkalot. He needs a small key to get through to Moldorm 2. So he's gonna have to Death Warp and go back to the bottom and climb again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you miss that, you tend to not notice it until you're at the door. Okay, we are to phase 4. This is the easy phase of Master Sword Ganon. Just 4 silver arrows. Misses the first one.
I don't know how that missed. That was crazy.
Gotta love video game hitboxes, right? Okay, going for a silver number 2 here. Adds 2, needs 2 more. He's taking this nice and safe. I like that, you took a death, you played a little bit safer on round 2. Gets not quite the double. And that will do it. HayfieldBay is going to take this race, move on to the top 64 bracket.
And get your GGs in chat for HayfieldBay, who is finished with a time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 58 seconds. And we have an immediate forfeit from SirLinkalot. So, HayfieldBay moving on, SirLinkalot eliminated.
Yep, it was right as Linkalot found out that he was missing that key, so I can't see any possible answer to that other than just, okay, I'm done.
So we do have word from SirLink that he's not going to join for an interview. So we will wait, see if HayfieldBay wants to come in. Yeah, what a interesting race. Both players making some mistakes here and there. SirLinkalot is definitely being more thorough, which seemed to pay off at first with getting those Titans mitts out of Skull Woods. But unfortunately, they did not lock the fire rod, so HayfieldBay was able to get back there in plenty of time.
Yeah, very thoroughness ended up costing them, which is a thing that happens in Rando. Either you play thorough and it can cost you from taking up too much time looking at stuff, or you don't play thorough and you lose too much time from missing an important item, and one way or the other, one of those strategies is not going to pay off on a given seed. And it looks like HayfieldBay is here. Will be jumping in with us momentarily.
Yeah, so before we start the interview, I just do want to take a moment to shout out to our tracker, SayRyuX. Did an excellent job for us today. Always good to have those trackers to keep the stream rolling smoothly. But for now, we got HayfieldBay joining us. GG, congratulations! You're moving on to brackets. How did that seed feel?
GG. It went okay because I was so scared of Ganon.
Yeah, you had a bit of a tough fight there, but you had a pretty significant lead on SirLinkalot, so it was all right.
Yeah, I'm so used to have at least a cape or potion at that point, so I decided to play safe the second time.
Yeah, I don't know if you were watching the restream back, but especially Linkalot forgot to grab a key in the basement, so he was going to have to go back down the tower anyway. So your playing safe was definitely the right option because you had a lot of time to spare, it turned out.
And it's so sad when you go all the way at the top and you realize you don't have a key. I must admit it happened to me many times.
Yeah, I think it's happened to all of us at least a couple times.
Yep, it is a really tough thing, but GG's to SirLinkalot anyway.
So, Hayfield, I do want to ask, were nerves kind of getting to you here? We saw Pod was kind of chaos for you. Ice Palace, you missed the Bari key at first. It just kind of seemed like maybe nerves were eating at you with it being Game 3.
I was quite nervous this time. So I felt the seed went well, but when I got to Pod, I was so confused there. I saw my key count that there must be an item more, but I forgot I did a hammer jump. So at least I didn't die at the boss there.
Yeah. So you were playing a much more aggressive game than SirLink. So you skipped Skull Woods. SirLink went into Skull Woods on his first time in the Dark World and got those Titans mitts. But luckily you found a fire rod and a sword to bring you back there. So for a while we were wondering if those Titans mitts would be the difference. But no, it all worked out.
If I had gone immediately to Skull Woods when I got to the Dark World, I would grab that mitts, but afterwards, when I didn't do that, I wanted to get a sword before I went there. So, and at that point, I had so many far out locations. So, luckily, I did Hyrule Castle, and they had a hook shot was leading to the sword, and everything worked well there.
Yeah, for sure. So, how are you feeling about brackets? I'm not sure who you're going to be playing, but
I'm looking forward to the brackets, but I will probably meet one of the absolute top players, I guess. So I got to practice my execution, especially Ganon with Master Sword.
Well, I think maybe that'll do it. Did you have any other questions, Mentos Man?
Don't think so. I fear we'll say, did you worry at all when you found those Titan Smiths that Linkalot did have them, and maybe something important was on Dark Death Mountain when you got up there?
At that point, I think I thought he was maybe ahead, but when I got the book from Ice Palace, I had the feeling that I was ahead. But you never know.
Yeah, the one thing that could have been really bad is if that Quake medallion was required. That was in the waterfall cave, and SirLinkalot did the fake flipper early, so had that. So yeah, it was basically once we saw that Turtle Rock medallion not being Quake, we knew you were way in the lead.
Well, yeah, I think that's about all I had. Hayfield, do you have any other comments you'd like to throw in?
And thank you for the restream and commentating. I'm looking forward to the brackets.
Agreed. They should be a real fun time.
For sure. But yeah, I think that'll do it for us. Again, one more shout out to our tracker, SayRayUX, and of course my co-commentator, MentosMan8. Always a pleasure to work with you.
Right back at you, and a quick shout out to both the runners for putting on a great show. Obviously, had Linkalot grabbed the key, this race would have been very close between the two of them. They're both great runners. They're both good people. Linkalot is a great commentator, at least. Hayfield, I can't for the life of me remember if you're a commentator, which makes me feel a failure of a commentator mod. But yeah, I know they both play a lot of Link to the Past, so if you want to drop them a follow, give them both a follow as well.
Yeah, and on the schedule, we do have another game coming up in about a half an hour. Actually, even a little less than that. 1:20 p.m. Eastern. That'll be Incoherent versus Lin Lin Lin. That is their game 2, and that'll be on the main Speed Gaming channel. And there's also another game late tonight at 10:50 p.m. Eastern between Frostbite and JP. So, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, with groups winding down this week, should be pretty slow in terms of matches, but once brackets start up, we'll see a huge spike back up for the first round, the round of 64. So, right now there's a little bit of a lull, but we'll be back in full swing here very soon.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great afternoon.
Later, everyone.